Turning a small canister like this from a piece of green wood is a great way to get started in turning hollow vessels, particularly lidded vessels, like this one I made yesterday. Watch me give it a try on this brand new lathe from Laguna. A while ago, our turning expert, Ernie Conover, demonstrated how to turn a lidded canister out of a big chunk of cured maple. But he said at the time, if you're doing this for the first time, use some green wood. It'll make it a lot easier. So I salvaged this elm from a waste wood drop-off site near my house. Yesterday, I squared it up sufficiently so that I can mount it on a lathe, and that's what we're going to use to turn the canister today. I found the center of this humongously heavy chunk of elm. I used the drive center to mark it and to get the edges started. Now I've got it between centers, and I'm going to start cranking it in so that it doesn't fly off and hurt me. With the blank mounted between centers, I'm setting up my tool rest. Don't want it to run into the block. I need to turn this thing into a cylinder. That's the first step. It's important to regulate your speed because when you're turning something this big and blocky, you don't want it to go too fast. The RPM is controlled on this lathe by this dial here. However, it's within 3 separate speed ranges that are created by 3 different belt settings. The first step is to turn this block into a cylinder. Now to start out, you need to take it slow. I usually set it at 350 or right around there RPM. Don't turn it too fast, it'll make it harder. As you start to round it, you can start increasing the RPM, and that's just something you kind of do by feel. Once you get it pretty round, spindle turning is best between 1200 and 1500 RPM. At first, the diameter of this cylinder may seem to be a bit random, but it's not. I decided to hollow out the inside of the cylinder with a Forstner bit, so the diameter was built off of the size of this bit. It's a lot easier to drill out the center than it is to use a spindle gouge to carve it out. So now I'm going to turn a couple of tenons on the end of this blank. They're about 3/8 of an inch tall, and I'm going to turn the diameter down to about 2 1/4 inches. Well, I'm a pretty good woodworker, hobbyist. The skew is a challenge for me, but in green wood, the great thing is that even I can use it. So I'm going to use this skew, which cuts a really smooth surface, to size it down, the cylinder down to its final dimension. As you can see, the skew leaves a pretty nice smooth surface even in this fibrous wet wood. With the cylinder sized and pretty smooth now, I'm going to move on to cutting off what will become the top of the lidded section. But before I do that, I'm going to change my lathe setup. So now I'm going to swap out the drive center for a scroll chuck. This is a great system. It's going to be on it for the rest of the canister turning. It allows me to hold product really well, and this chuck works great with this Laguna lathe. Scroll chucks add just a huge degree of control as you're working with the various components that form this canister. Makes your life a lot easier. We'll keep the scroll chuck on for the remainder of this project. The next step is to remove what will become the top of the canister. I'm going to part it off. The scroll chuck makes this process much easier. I'm just going to take off about, a scant third of the top of the cylinder, take it off, and then we'll set it aside. With the end parted off, I'm going to take a few minutes now to sand this thing smooth, and I'll even apply a finish at this point. I'm just going to use some wax. So Time to make some sawdust. With the cylinder sanded smooth, I'm going to apply some wax. I'm using some bry wax because I like it. Put a couple coats on. One great thing about it is that it's easily touch-upable, so later on down the way you can go ahead and put some more on if your wood is looking a little dry. We're now ready to start boring out the center of the cylinder. Now, a cool trick that you can do on a good lathe like this one from Laguna is that you can mount on a number 2 taper a Jacob's chuck into the tailstock. And then we can mount the Forstner bit I showed you earlier, and I'm going to be able to bore this out. Turn it on. You should slow the lathe down because you don't want to, with a bit this big, it shouldn't go much over 350 RPM. And then you use the quill to start drilling. It's important not to put too much pressure on the bit. As you can see, it can kind of jam up. It can also get pretty hot, so I like to drill for a second and then back it off. Drill for a second and back it off. All right, just got to keep boring till we're the length of the Forstner bit. Then we're ready to switch over to work on the top. Now that we've bored the hole in the canister, we've removed the Jacob's chuck and the bit, and we're going to move back to shaping the top of the canister. If you remember, we parted this thing off, and now what I'm going to do is turn a tapered tenon right here that will fit snugly into the opening that we just bored. When you're doing this, if you make your tenon a little bit too narrow and it's sloppy in there, just extend it a little further and it'll fit nice and tight. I'm going to form this thing using my square end scraper. With the taper accurately formed to fit the canister, the last little bit of detailing on the tenon is to shape a little dome into the bottom. It just makes it look nice. With the top still attached to the scroll chuck, I'm going to take advantage of that. Use a live center, pin this thing in place so I can shape these two pieces to mate perfectly, and then I'm going to part this off almost completely at a distance that I think will look nice. If you do a little cutting, you got to do a little sanding. And if you sand, then you need to apply some more finish. Again, the advantage of the wax, infinite touch-ups. Now if you think about it, that drill bit, that Forstner bit, really only drilled to a cavity about this deep. So that we don't need a base this large. So now I'm just going to find a pleasant spot to part off the base, and we'll get busy with that. The last thing we need to do to complete the canister is to complete the shaping on the top. Now, there's a lot of ways you can do that. I've chosen a pretty cool thing. If you noticed, I scribed a line right here. I'm going to slice this off on the bandsaw, then I'm going to sand it flat, and then I'm going to shape the top later on. Now, ordinarily, it would require forming a jam chuck where you taper a hole in a piece of wood, and you would slam this thing in there, and that would hold tight enough to turn it, put it on the faceplate. Well, fortunately for me, the scroll chuck is large enough that I can do just that on the scroll chuck. I'll be back in just a minute. So you can see that I've got the top cut and sanded, mounted in the scroll chuck. And just to make it more controllable, I used the live center. The little plywood block just gives me a little room to work my parting tools around as I'm shaping the top of the canister. I'm just going to make a little depression, leave a knob, and then after that, it'll all be ready to go. Now a little bit of wax, and our top is done. So that's it. You know, these were my first 2 attempts at turning hollow vessels. These canisters, I have to say I'm pleased with how they came out, and this Laguna lathe made it that much easier to do. And don't forget about that trick of using a Forstner bit to hollow out the cylinder. I'm Rob Johnstone from Woodworker's Journal. Keep on making sawdust.